Welcome to Footballin with Ben Roethlisberger. It is a wintry, no school day. So we are down here in the basement bringing you an episode. We are going to be a little different today. We gave Evan, because of the snow day.
Yeah, it's a snow day here.
My kids are upstairs, by the way, so there may be interrupt. We don't know what's going to happen today. It's one of those kind of days. But we decided we have to give the fans what they need, even if they don't want to hear it today after the loss this week. We're going to give y'all at least our breakdown of the game. We told Evan not to come today because of the weather and the roads. We were safety first. We were a good team. Yep. We said, Evan, take the time off. So therefore, we won't be doing a family dinner. So we won't have that, obviously, to enjoy food and Evan's take. I'm sure you all can guess his take. I talked to him yesterday. I can give you his 2 cents if you'd like. But because he couldn't make it, we're gonna dedicate this whole show to Giant Eagle.
The good people.
The good people at Giant Eagle, all the food that we normally would have. On days like this, you're thankful when you went shopping yesterday.
That's right.
At Giant Eagle, because your pantry's full.
That's right. Take all that stuff that you bought this week, make a nice soup if you live in the Northeast
sounds
here.
Delightful. So anyway, yes, we are going to get into it and talk this game. Go from there.
Yeah, it's this weather matches the feeling, I think, that we have in the city. If you live in or around Pittsburgh, you have been snowed in today. And we don't want you at home alone. We want you to share your frustrations with us in this episode.
You sit at home on the day like this after a loss like this, and you're like, I can't go anywhere. And it snowballs.
Yeah. Oh, look
on top of you. And the avalanche just keeps coming, because typically you can get out and go do things, and you're sitting at home and you're just like, bleh, and your kids are driving you crazy because they're not in school. Go outside and play football. It was.
This is prime snow game, like pickup game weather. Y'all had pylons in your backyard? Still, yeah.
They didn't cleaned up, so they probably get a little football today. Dude, I was all-time quarterback this week, on the flag football game again. Course. Rough game this week, obviously, with the Bills coming to town. I unfortunately, or fortunately, depends on how you look at it, said we were going to lose.
Yeah.
So unfortunately for the Steelers, we lost. Fortunately for my record, I am now 7-4.
Hey, what's that like?
We don't know. Record. I'm gonna have a winning record by the end of this thing. I bet you. Yeah. It was a tough game. I knew coming in that it was going to be challenging, tricky, not just because they had, I think one of the better quarterbacks to play the game right now in Josh Allen, and they got hammered pretty good last week by the Texans, who are a really good defense, good football team. It just felt like the Bills were going to be coming in here with some, we have to win. Both teams were, when they put up the graphics on like playoffs, the playoff bracket, right? It's like division winners, wild cards, in the hunt, outside looking in or whatever. I think us and the Bills were right on the borderline of like in. And so it was like, okay, the loser's going to in the hunt.
Yeah.
Winner stays in. Neither team. I think at the time, actually, before the game, the Steelers had leapfrogged the Ravens, right? Because the Ravens lost last week. So we actually were division winners. Now I think about it, I apologize. And the Ravens were in the hunt. And then obviously with the loss, it flip-flops. And I think we actually got bumped even outside the playoff picture now, potentially.
Cool. That's so cool.
So it was a big game for both teams, I guess, in what I'm saying. And so you knew Buffalo was going to come in and bring everything, and elements were going to play an effect. We're going to play a factor in the game. Really windy, cold. So the passing game was going to be unique, and it was going to come down to which team was going to run the ball better, probably. And looking back on it, that's the case. Obviously, neither team could throw the ball real well. Obviously, because of the elements, and it was going to running the ball was going to be big. And I didn't think that the Bills would set the all-time record for rushing.
That's insane.
In the Pittsburgh Stadium, and both Hines and Acrisure. I mean, that's mind-blowing to me that happened. That can't feel good. But, again, coming into the game, Aaron Rodgers, what was going to happen there. Yeah. So there was just all the lead up to this game was going to be was a lot. And it
played out the way. I do want to talk about that stat, right? So I'm sure I have it here somewhere, but if you remember it, feel free to cut me off and announce it. The stat of the most rushing yards
in Pittsburgh. They say in Acrisure, but it was Heinz. Both stadiums.
That's insane. So
it was like 231 yards, I think was what it was.
Oh my goodness.
And I think they rushed for almost 250.
So I want to, you got 249 here. So the most any opponent has ever rushed at home since 1975. Jeez. So I want to talk about how that sits on the Pittsburgh Steelers identity because we are a defensive team. Or historically, I think in the last couple of years, there's been obviously a bit of frustration. This year seems kind of be the straw that breaks the camel's back. A lot of frustrations. You saw that on Sunday. When you get a team that runs the same play 29 times and it's effective almost every single time, and it's a running play against the defense in which the identity of a city is staked on. What are we looking at as far as the impact that has on this team in the locker room?
Let me tell you this. You said it, and I've said it. I've pulled young guys aside from Le'Veon Bell to Rashard Mendenhall to Najee Harris and say, hey, listen, no matter how good this team is, okay, no matter how many yards per game we throw it, no matter how many Antonio Browns, Mike Wallace's, name the wide receivers, a quarterback, no matter how good we are, this city will always care the most about its defense and its running back. So as a running back, like I'm saying that as a challenge, like you have the opportunity to like they will embrace you and love you like they did Franco Harris, Rocky Blyer, Jerome Bettis, Willie Parker, like they want that. And so I've challenged. I used to challenge those guys to I don't know they fully understood it. Maybe they do now a little bit. But again, the first thing I would always say is defense. Okay. Now we've had some seasons where the defense hasn't been a great defense, and so there might be times when teams put up big points or big numbers or big yards, rushing, throwing. I think what hurts from a fan's perspective and an ex-player's perspective is that this happened. They set the all-time record since the 70s, all-time record. And it's not against a defense that we are like, we have a down year. Like we put all our eggs in the offensive basket this year to try and outscore everybody. Some are, it'll come back, the ebb and flow of the offense and defense. You have the highest paid defense. You've got player of the years over there. You've got Pro Bowlers. You've got all pros. You've brought guys in. And so you went all in this season as the Pittsburgh Steelers on both sides of the ball, okay? But we're talking about this specific thing. You brought in guys and said, hey, we're going, this is our year. We brought in a veteran quarterback. I mean, that to me, that's the big one. When you bring in that, you're like, hey, we need a quarterback. We brought in a veteran quarterback who's a GOAT. We're going all in. Our defense is stacked. We paid a lot of money to it. We had guys in the preseason at training camp talking about how great they were going to be. And then that defense lets up 250, almost 250 rushing yards and 7-3 at halftime.
Yeah.
23-0 in the second half.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? You just said it. 20-some plays, the same play.
Yeah.
And it was that's like, hey, just so you guys know, we're gonna do this right here before I snap the ball. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna hand it here, and he's gonna run. We're gonna block. You can't stop us. That's basically what happened, and that can't sit well with fans. It can't sit well inside that building. It can't sit well with Mike Tomlin, who loves the defense, who is a defensive head coach, Terrell Austin, the Rooney family, anybody associated with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That, again, it would feel different if you were saying this is a down year for our defense. That's not what this is supposed to be. So that cannot sit well with anybody in this city.
And I think the next obvious question is, okay, what do we need to do to fix it? And that's, I think, the more challenging thing is when I'm watching, like, I watch the game. I mean, at halftime, I'm like, Bud, I think I was texting him, like, buddy, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And then you get to post-game pressers, which is like, I know I have my own feeling with those interviews. But I'm like, what do you want these guys to say, man?
Right.
But I think from the fan base, it's like what we're hoping to see beyond like execution and performance is accountability. And where do we go to say, all right, man, so-and-so missed the block. Okay, there was a mistake on this play. I don't know that that's necessarily happening, man. I don't know that I can go watch the all 22 and say, oh, that happened because this guy missed assignment. I think it's just kind of schematic. Like it's just a little bit of everything. And then how do we right the ship? And can we do it in week 13? And I mean,
well, it's not the good thing for the Steelers is that they're literally this week away from being in first place again.
Does that not bum you out that the AFC North is like the two teams that are fighting for the first spot are like 6-6?
Yeah, it's tough.
That's insane.
It's tough. Which doesn't bode well for the team that gets in. Probably doesn't have much of a shot when they get there.
Yeah, it looks like we're the NFC South over here. Just like, what are we doing?
Tough. I think the biggest thing you hit it on the head is accountability. And accountability for a team starts at the top, right? It starts with the ball, starts with Coach Tomlin, and then it has to trickle down. Again, we're not in those meeting rooms. We are not in watching the all-22 with the team, so we can't sit there and say, is he holding guys accountable or not?
Sure.
If guys are messing up, then there needs to be accountability from Coach Tomlin and or Austin, right, the defensive coordinator, then down to the position coaches, then down to the players. Players can hold players accountable. Are the players holding each other accountable? Again, we're not in those rooms. We don't know. They're saying the right things post-game. We can talk, Aaron obviously made some comments this week, and when we get to the offensive side of the ball about guys maybe not being in meetings as much. But again, I look at the Giants, and I think this name's Carter, is their first-round pick. This is the second time, this last game on Monday night, last night they played the Patriots. He didn't start for the first two series of the game, okay? The Patriots scored both series, so they're up, was it 10-0, whatever it was, before he even stepped foot on the plate. Now, he's their first-round pick, okay? This is the second time that he has been benched or not started a game for being late to something, okay? The first time it happened, he missed like a series. Second time, now it's two series. And it seems like guys, like according to his teammates, as I read this morning, it seems like they're like saying he gets it now. Now, only time will tell, see what happens again. But my point, I know people are like, what's this have to do with anything? My point in saying that is the head coach is holding that guy accountable for missing a meeting, okay? I don't know what's going on. Like, we can't talk about the Steelers because we don't know. We only know about that because they've put it out there.
Yeah.
And I know Aaron now has obviously put out there that there maybe aren't guys in meetings. I know I've been in a lot of meetings and guys weren't always on time. Yeah. Guys sometimes weren't even there. The accountability has to flow down. And so hopefully it starts to flow down, or maybe it is, and maybe guys just flat out, maybe they're not doing something wrong, maybe they're just flat out getting beat, because that's another option too.
Sure.
It might not be I'm in the wrong place, or I'm not maybe I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. It's just X's and O's. We're getting out schemed.
Yeah.
Out schemed could be, to me, I would lean that way pretty heavily, because we go in at halftime of the last how many games with a lead, and then we come out and go 23-0 in the second half.
Yeah.
If we don't go into the halftime with like a 2-score lead, I don't feel comfortable. And even 2 scores can be scary. Like it's sure enough, every halftime we're going, it's like, are we not making the adjustments? And again, we're not there, so all we can do is ask questions. But I'm going to ask the questions that I'm sure fans are asking, and I'm sorry that I don't have answers. Are the proper adjustments being made, and they're not being executed? Or are they not being made, so therefore they're not being executed?
But dog, this is the crazy thing to me, is that you've been asking this question since week 3?
0, according to Coach Tomlin.
This is something that if you are a fan of the show and you tune in every week to hear Ben's take, you will have heard him say this exact same sentence for like 15 weeks, which is insane to me due to the fact that this is a professional sports team. You know what I mean? Like I don't know why that seems, maybe that's a better question to ask you as a professional athlete, is why are there certain things that seem so obvious to us watching the game that seem like they can't even be noticed by people on the inside? Granted, we're not privy to all the information.
We don't know all the information.
And I'm going to present my ignorance to the situation along with my question. But when you see things like Like even the usage of Darnell Washington, where I feel like the fan base has been banging the drum, like, hey man, this guy is 11 feet tall. He weighs all the weight and he's fast and he can block. Why don't we just, I don't know, give him the ball and let him run through the defense? And then when it happens, it's like, oh my gosh, can you believe this? I'm like, yes, I can believe this. We've been asking for this. I know you can't use him on every play, but it seemed like one thing that seemed very simple as far as let's implement this. And it took so long to do. I feel like there are other things, whether it be the scheme, whether it be like, hey, why did we decide to go for it there? That doesn't seem logical. Is there a reason why the disconnect between fan and...
I don't know. I think that's the question is, what's the reason? Like sometimes like it's like, what's the reason of this? Like it seems like there's, when I watch a game, sometimes these games, like I scratch my head because I'm like, that doesn't seem logical.
Did you do that while you played though too? Where like, or would you, when you were in the heat of the battle, you're like, oh, I know why Coach T would do that because I just did this.
I mean, I think there's always a time, when you play, like, but it would be random type things. Like, what in the world was that?
Yeah,
like, why did we use a timeout? Why did we challenge that? Why did we go for that? Why didn't we use a timeout there? Whatever. But those were, I mean, few and far between. It felt like I'm watching these games and I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. And it's not necessarily the time. It might be a play calling offense. It's like running on first, try and throw on second, running on third. It seems like if you're not, and I don't know Arthur Smith. I know he's had some really good years when he had Tannehill and Derrick Henry in Tennessee and had a good run in Atlanta. But it seems like if you're not an Arthur Smith guy, you're left behind. It seems like he doesn't like Pat Freiermuth. Obviously. Why is Pat Freiermuth not? He didn't get one ball thrown his way.
Yes.
So I can only ask the question again.
Is that scheme? Is it?
If you're not his guy, maybe it's Aaron. I've heard some things that Aaron, like this last game when they finally moved the ball, Aaron was just calling plays.
Okay.
Maybe it's one of those situations where we unhook the helmet and let Aaron do his thing.
Yeah.
But you see that the times that Pat gets involved, he scores touchdowns.
Dude.
It seems like, and I think Jonnu Smith is a great football player. I think Darnell Washington is a great football player. You paid Pat Freiermuth a lot of money. Like, use him.
Yeah.
So it just seems like Arthur Smith has his guys. And if you're not a guy, like why, and I know we kind of gone off. Why has you paid a guy, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's $150 million in DK Metcalf, right? 5 years.
It's a lot of dollars.
$150 million. Why does he have the same amount of catches as Kenneth Gainwell? And again, Kenneth Gainwell was playing his butt off.
You mean the running back?
The running back. He's playing his butt off, and he's doing a lot of great things.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of his. But you're paying a guy $150 million, and he's got the same amount of catches. Now, is that Aaron Rodgers, or is that the scheme? It seems like it's a lot of scheme, and it seems like, okay, you know what? Let's keep him happy and throw a go ball to him every once in a while. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
From the Monday morning quarterback and sitting back and watching, it's like, okay, all right, here's his one go ball. Let's throw it up to him, and maybe he'll be happy with that. Like he can't run an in route. He can't run different things to get open and get him catching the ball while he's moving. Because you saw in Ireland against Minnesota when he catches a quick little under route, when he's running, he's hard to stop.
Yeah,
so it just seems to me from again 30,000 feet way back. I don't know Arthur Smith. I'm not trying to say anything about Arthur Smith. It just seems like if you're not one of his guys,
interesting. Yeah, I know DK has had a handful of drops in probably key downs throughout the season.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I was going to ask you how many.
It does not matter.
How many times is a receiver, inconsistent with his catches? Is it going to affect your ability to throw to him or your
very rarely
trust?
because the plays that he makes make up for those.
Okay,
you can have a quick short term memory when a guy drops a slant 3-yard slant route. And then he goes up and makes a big boy touchdown catch. You're like, oh yeah, wait, what did he? Oh, I forgot you dropped that one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If he wasn't making those big plays, then you're like,
sure,
I'm moving on. But he's making the plays that let you forget about the little things. So I don't know, and it may be, and I know it's being talked about around here a lot. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's a clean house time. Maybe it is. Maybe it's time. And I like Coach Tomlin. I have a lot of respect for Coach Tomlin. But maybe it's best for him too.
Sure.
Maybe a fresh start for him is what's best. Whether that's in the pros, maybe Go be Penn State's head coach. You know what he would do in Penn State? He'd probably go win national championships.
Because
he's a great recruiter.
That's what was I having a conversation? We probably had this.
Probably.
Or I was having this conversation the other day. I'm like, Coach T in college would be one of the greatest college football coaches of all. You tell me. Now, I don't know what the climate of college football is now with the NIL, the portal, and all that stuff. I mean, it's like the Wild West down there.
For sure.
Which is insane that it's not been regulated to some degree. But, I'm sure that's probably by design. But not saying he should leave his job. Again, equally, I'm a fan of who Tomlin is. But I understand and respect the sentiment of the frustration of the fan base saying, man, something's got to go. And it's like, you go to the top of the pyramid, bro. And you have to, if all this is a mess, you are responsible, you are accountable. What is the likelihood? Maybe you don't know. This is just kind of like a, BSing about football at the bar kind of question. How does that even take place? If you're talking about cleaning house, what is the reality of something like that happening in Pittsburgh? It seems so uncharacteristic of how
it is. It is uncharacteristic.
Is that even plausible for this organization?
Well, it's happened. Listen, here's what you don't do. You don't fire a guy like Coach Tomlin. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He's respected. What you do is you come to an understanding and agreement. And it's like, hey, listen, I think it's probably best for both of us. And you don't, because listen, we've had the same head coach and Coach Tomlin. We've had different offensive coordinators, different defensive coordinators, but it's kind of been the same story. We've had a few offensive coordinators now, and the offense looks a lot the same. This looks a lot like Matt Canada's offense. I mean, in terms of just like, where's the splash? Where's this? And so again, this is us watching from just not knowing what's going on. Is the scheme great and the players are messing up? We don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying from sitting back on the couch at home watching. And the defense is, you've got the highest paid defense and guys. We just talked about it. Like, there's no reason that some of the things that are happening. So therefore, it tells me, you go, hey coach, listen, I think it's probably best for all parties involved. Let's start over.
Yeah.
It happened with Chuck Noll.
Sure.
Happened with Coach Cowher. Now, Coach Cowher's was a little bit different, right, because of family things. Coach Tomlin's been here a long time, and you would give him a statue, do whatever you got to do, because he deserves it.
Yeah.
He's earned it. But it's like, okay, it's time to find that next guy, and who's that next guy that could be here for the next 20 years? And just like Coach Cowher helped get Coach Tomlin could help get him. And I think, I don't know this, I haven't talked to Coach Tomlin about it, but I think he might say, like, it's time for a fresh start. When you've been in one place in the NFL for that long, like, even the greatest of, like, you talk about the Belichicks and the Gibbs and the Seiferts and the
Andy Reid, bro.
Andy Reid switched and went, would Andy Reid be? Do you think when he got let go in Philadelphia, people were like, "What in the world?" Like, what he did, he went to all the NFC Championship games, didn't win it, but holy cow! And now, do you think he, for 1 minute, regrets it, or anybody? I mean, and now the Eagles have won since he's left.
Yeah,
he's won. It's best for. And so again, I'm not trying to like be nasty or this and other. I just think that it might be, even coach might say it's time for a change. And again, if that's college, I don't know if it's pro. The second he decides he wants to go somewhere else, he's going to have a job.
Oh, for sure.
There's no doubt in my mind, which he should.
Yeah, for sure. And it's really interesting too, man, because as a coach in the NFL, you can really have 9 lives. I mean, there are going to be individuals now who are fans of the game as they're getting older and won't even know Andy Reid had a run in Philly, which is crazy to me because I grew up with it. So, and he has an entire successful career at a different team that So, yeah, man, I think Tomlin going anywhere, obviously, there are, I don't know how many teams have like their guy. Maybe there's 20 openings, maybe there's 25 openings.
Yeah, there's a handful that wouldn't do anything for him.
And so, and not to mention the universities whose boosters were like, who do I make this out to?
Again, right now.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to see it like that in this position, especially, having played for him. I'm sure you're more aware of his strengths than probably the rest of us. But yeah, it's a crazy state to be in Pittsburgh because it's a city that's not used to floundering. And I don't want to use that term for what we're doing now. It does feel like if we get a couple of,
it's crazy. We have a chance to get to the.
That's what I mean.
We're still right there.
There's so many other teams that are like, "What are you complaining about, bro?" You know what I mean? Like Saints fans right now are like, "Oh, I wish, bro." Are you kidding me?
Yes.
You know?
And so there's still, and that's why I hate to have this conversation right now, but it's just, it's the pulse of the city, and we might as well have the conversation. We're being Evan. Right.
yeah. I'm channeling my inner Evan. It feels great.
And so again, and you asked the question, and so if that happens, so if you find the next guy whenever that time, because it's going to happen at some point.
Sure.
There's going to be a new coach. You start there, and then you let him clean house and work his way, bring his guys in, whatever it is. Excuse me. So that's how that process goes. Whenever that time is right for both Tomlin and the Rooneys.
Well, and two, the implications of player contracts. Like, obviously, I've never led an organization to that size. I think very few people have. But thinking just on my own experience that I can draw from, you think about the players that you have, the contracts that they're into. Like, dude, are you gonna? I don't know what you got a high paid defense. I don't know what all your stars on defenses contracts look like. I think they're probably in the next 3 years you might have to renegotiate half of them.
Got some veteran guys in there,
right? So is that something you are waiting for with it? Or you bring a new guy to give a little juice? Say, hey, we got hope now. I thought, obviously this is, I don't know what they were doing with Tomlin's contract when this was available, but when Ben Johnson came available, obviously everybody wanted him. See what he's doing in Chicago. But I just think like to have an offensive-minded quarterback for Pittsburgh would be something extremely new. But
coordinator? You mean your head coach?
Head coach. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What did I say? Quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely want an offensive-minded quarterback. Head coach. I don't know that we've seen that.
No, we haven't.
And you'd have to change the identity kind of the team, but is that a bad thing in 2025?
No, it wouldn't be bad as long as that head coach was willing to bring a defensive coordinator in that was a guy that is almost like, hey, listen, this half of the building is yours. You know what I'm saying? Like Coward Dick LeBeau, here, you're a head coach type. Yes, I'm check with me on some certain things, but that's yours.
Yeah.
You take that. I'm going to focus on the offense. And guess what? There might be times, just so you know, when the offense is on the bench and defense on the field, that I'm over talking to my players and I'm talking about plays. So let me know I have my headset on if there's a challenge or something like that. But that's your thing.
Kind of like what the San Francisco has. Like they got Sailor back.
Yeah.
After
I think a lot of guys, Andy Reid does the same thing. Like he's talking to Mahomes. I mean, now they have, I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
I see his face.
Yeah, I know. I could do it too. He was with the Bears. But you have a lot of guys that do that. You see, down in Miami with Mike Daniels, McDaniels doing it. You see McVay doing it. All these guys do it that are opposite. Like they're like, okay, but that you have to have trust in your defensive coordinator that and your other coaching staff. That I'm gonna let this go. It's like when I think that we were at our best was when Mike Tomlin had Bruce Arians and Dick LeBeau, two great coaches that you were just like, you know what? I don't need to do anything. Like y'all got this. I'm gonna oversee it. I'm the boss. I'm gonna oversee it, but I'm not stepping in. If you got to have someone here that you can just let do that.
And obviously, never having the experience of doing that for a profession, it blows my mind that a head coach wouldn't want to do that. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that a head coach would want to be so inserted into one side of the ball that they become even more responsible for its productivity. Like, it feels like with Tomlin's strengths, it would make so much more sense. Like, hey, I'm going to be a culture guy, and I'm going to be made sure everybody in this room is bought in because he has that ability to do that.
Yes, he does.
I mean, he can do that. Like, I don't know that I've seen anybody else capable of doing that. My main goal is going to be especially at a professional level where it's like, hey, y'all know how to play football. You are the best football players in the world. I'm going to assume you know how to play football. All right. I'm going to make sure you guys are fighting for each other. And then these two guys are going to make sure you execute a scheme. Like, head coach, I feel like I would want the most lethal dude in the world. I don't want to have to do your job.
You don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. Like, it's like a Fortune 500 company. Like, you want to have people around you that are smarter than you because they're going to keep your company running. Yeah. I don't want to own a company and be the smartest guy in the room. Like I'm gonna bring people in that can help me. But that also, in order to do that, you have to be able to check your ego and not do that. And I'm not again saying anything about Tomlin, but it's not an easy thing to do. So I don't know. I don't. Again, these are all just a lot of hypotheticals that we're throwing around and talking about. And could you say like, okay, could the Rooneys step in and be like, hey, you need to hire a new OC, a new DC, and they need to have this, and maybe you don't have as much control. Sure, but Coach Tomlin has so much control in that building, like more so than anybody knows. And he can deny it all he wants, and I've been there, I've seen it. And people can say about draft picks and this, that, and the other. Well, no, it's ultimately Mr. Rooney. It is, but Coach Tomlin is way over Omar and way over some of these other guys, and so he's going to have his say, and he's earned that. He's been there for a long time. So I think it's in my opinion, it's over just switching up OCDCs. I think it's when Coach Tomlin says it's time to go, you just got to give everybody out and get a new guy in.
Man, that would be a crazy thing to witness. What I do want to do is I'm going to jump back to this game. I want to talk about the offensive side of the ball a little bit. We talked about the struggles on defense and what seemed to be an inability to stop the run, the same run. Aaron's coming back, fractured hand, got a cast on.
That was crazy. I couldn't believe he had like a full-fledged cast on there.
Yeah, dude.
A lot.
Like, so I guess that's more my question is like, should he have been out there?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I think that's the question that probably a lot of people asked. And I would say this, because you saw what happened. He took nothing under center. Mm-hmm. He even said, I think in post-game, I hope I'll be able to do it under center this week. Because when that cast is there, I mean, you can't bend your hand back. And my concern was, if he gets tackled and tries to put his hand down and brace himself, and maybe that's why the cast is so big to prevent any injury there. But what I was going to say is when it comes to deciding if you're going to play or not, when it was my time to decide, my main thoughts were, can I protect myself? And was I going to hurt the team or help the team? Because I can go out there every week, but am I giving our team the best chance to win? It is if I'm out there playing at 50%, am I at 50% better than our other guy at 100% or not, healthy? And you have to ask that question. And so I had to do that many times where it's like, okay, listen, you know what? Bruce Gretkowski is better than me today. Like I'm not going to be able to bring enough to this table. Now you have to take into consideration, and there are a lot of guys, Dobbs, I mean, you could go down the list of all the guys. Now you do have to take into consideration, there is a factor of your guy being out there, right? Aaron Rodgers stepping on that field feels a lot different than a backup.
Sure.
I'd like to think that if I was on the field, it felt a lot different than a guy. So that does give guys some, I've come back into games and you see that you just feel the guys like, oh, here he comes. So there's something to that. So you have to take that into consideration as well. In saying all that, Aaron has played in this league a long time. He's been through a lot of injuries. He knows his body. He knows the game. He knows if he should have been out there or not.
Yeah.
And he has to answer that question. I'm sure Tomlin went to him, hey, what do you think? And I don't want to say ultimately the decision was Aaron's, but it was probably more Aaron's than, if he's clear from the doctors, like, hey, he's good.
Yeah.
I'm sure coach is going to be like, hey, what do you think? Now, coach has the ultimate decision, but he's going to go off what Aaron says. If Aaron says, hey, I'm good to go out there, and coach says, hey, we need this one, and our best chance to win this game is with 8 out there, and even 8 at 50% gives us a boost, then that's what they have to do. And so, you can look at it and be like, he was inefficient, he was this, but he was efficient, but you couldn't do much in that weather anyway.
Yeah.
Because you weren't throwing the ball. So you needed to run the ball, and they just were the better running team that day.
Yeah, it's when you're talking about protecting yourself, when Bosa got him, I was like, oof.
Yeah, it was very familiar.
That didn't.
I saw his head hit the ground, and I was like, he's going to have. I knew exactly. He's going to have a cut right here on his nose. I knew it. I called it.
What's that? Just the helmet coming down?
Yeah, it's just the helmet just come down and get you.
Yeah, jeez.
Yep. Well, he's got that little Band-Aid chin strap. Tell him to get a 4-point chin strap. It won't slide.
It's good. It's vintage. It's from the 90s.
Might as well take the face mask off then.
Just the one bar.
But it was interesting that the game plan was all pistol because he couldn't go to center, and people probably asked that question. Well, how much does that affect the run game? A little bit.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I mean, it affects some on short yards and goal, like short yards goal line, because you can't get that ball in your hands quickly. But in the grand scheme of things, you saw you can do the same. I've played in games where I had to be pistol. I think most of mine were because of like a lower body injury where I couldn't get away from center.
Yeah.
But I've been there where I played a game in a pistol. You practice all weekend. You saw even when Mason came in, they stayed in the same. It was the same pistol formation. So, not the end of the world. Definitely a little bit different, but not the end of the world. Do I think that that's the reason the run game was inefficient? No, I think it was inefficient because they just didn't stick with it, give themselves a chance for it. And I think the Bills honestly probably were like, you're not throwing on us, so we're going to come down.
Yeah. Yeah, it was I didn't know what to expect. I think going in, I figured we'd win this one just due to the sheer fact of like, it's so sporadic that I felt like, oh, this is a good team. And I didn't know what the Bills were going to bring. I mean, they just lost to the Texans. Obviously, they want to bounce back, but they've had a kind of a makeshift.
Well, both tackles were down. I thought we were going to feast.
Dude, and not only that, I think...
they ended up losing a lot of guys. 5 guys went down or something.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen was sacked 8 times in Houston.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, both tackles, a couple
now,
other...
the Texans have a very good defense, which
clearly
we kind of thought we were going to have too, so I get it.
So, all that leads to just analyzing our performance against what is an AFC contender going into next week. I mean, the one thing about this is like going into Baltimore, the most hostile place in the division.
It's so hard to play, yes.
But we do have some weird like power over Baltimore.
We got a little something over them, yeah. I mean, my last note that I had on this game was literally, does it say more about the Steelers or the Bills after this game?
Yeah.
Right. And
Good
so
question.
That's leads into going this week. To me, it says more about the Bills in the sense that they just like they've always leaned so hard on Josh Allen to win games. Him, the little Superman cape, whatever you want to say. I think they've almost like maybe opened their own eyes to like, wow, we can. Now we know James Cook's he's a stud.
Yeah. But
like we can go win games doing it another way too. So now in their mind, they have to think like we can win multiple ways on offense.
Yeah.
And so I think that and obviously the turnovers they had in the first half got to be a little nerve-wracking on them. But I think that they have to feel really good. I think Pittsburgh leaving that game, like, I think that they had to think, like, this is the Bills team's coming here, like, we might get this one. That probably sounds, they probably thought, I don't think, I think they still thought they're going to win it. But they had to, this week is going to be big, okay? I'm just going to say that. I know that Buffalo now feels confident, extra confident. I think Pittsburgh is going into this game really needing to reset. Like we have to hit the reset button. It'll be interesting to see how, what Aaron's going to be like. I think Baltimore right now is really reeling. I don't think they're the Baltimore that I thought they were going to be going into this last week when they lost to Cincinnati when Joe Burrow came back. And obviously it shows that Joe Burrow is, a stud. But I think Lamar's more banged up than we think. I don't think he's playing with as much confidence as he probably once was. But what makes me nervous is, and I think their defense was starting to kind of look good again at one point, but then it looks like they kind of have fallen off a little bit too.
Yeah.
What makes me nervous is what we just saw this last week with Buffalo is the running game, and they have Derrick Henry.
Jeez.
They have Lamar Jackson who can run the ball. So is Pittsburgh going to go into this game and say, okay, that's not happening?
Yeah.
Lamar, beat us with your arm. We're going to put 9 guys in the box. We are going to make sure that you do not run for 100 yards, or I don't have to put a fake number on it.
Yeah.
Because if they run for 110 and you win, who cares? But go into this saying, no, Lamar has to beat us with his arm. It has to. That is our mindset. We are shutting down the run. And I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but in my opinion, that's what I would do. Is I'd say, hey, listen, we got to go. We got to try and do whatever we can to make this team as one-dimensional as possible and make that one dimension beat us. And it's literally just taking Derrick Henry out of the game. Like, take the run game out, and just, if Lamar beats you with his arms and legs, then so be it.
You don't think they was trying to do that this week?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think they were more scared of Josh Allen.
I agree. I 100% agree. When they weren't, I didn't realize how bad the weather was down there.
Yes, the wind was supposedly crazy.
And I'm like, man, y'all had Josh Allen. Why are you running? I'm like, but at the same time, if it works, it works. And then seeing some videos of like friends that were there, I'm like, oh, that was terrible.
Crazy windy, yeah. And I don't know what the weather's going to be like in Baltimore this week. That'll be a factor too.
Yeah.
But it's going to be, I don't know. It's both teams need this. That's the other like
hungry
thing to this. Both teams need this. And so if I was saying, if you're going to ask me right now, you're like, hey, Ben, right now, give me your prediction, because I have us as a win in my preseason poll. I think both teams are equally hungry. Both teams need it. We know that. Whoever wins is a big deal. I think both teams are coming off of losses at home. So listen, here's what I'm doing. Here's my scale. It's sitting. It's you know what I'm saying. You've got an MVP caliber quarterback on both teams. Stand right here. You have one who is banged up in Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so Baltimore gets that little advantage there. But he's been a little bit, but Lamar's been a little banged up too.
Yeah,
maybe not like a specific cast on arm, but a lower body, which is his kryptonite. Like that's his thing. We're back to even. I would say that my thing that would push us over the top. Now they have Derrick Henry, gives them scale. I would say DK Metcalf. I think there's some stuff there. I think when it comes down to it, it's going to come down to the defense. And I would say that we have a better defense on paper.
Sure.
The way that our defense has performed has not been up to the paper. So therefore, I would think that they're going to play like they're going to. I feel like our defense bounces back pretty well when we've been embarrassed.
Sure. Yeah.
I think they could bounce back. So therefore, I give the Steelers tip the scale a little bit. That being said, playing in Baltimore, which I know we've been very successful in Baltimore, but playing on the road compared to at home is a lot different. The scale has now tipped to where it's like I'm like a 51% Baltimore. I mean, it can't get any closer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think the home factor is different. And because right now, even being at home in Acrisure, in Pittsburgh, feels like it's not really home. Like the fans are not happy. Right. They're booing. They're chanting. They're booing Renegade. There's visitors, teams there. Baltimore's not. They're not doing that.
Yeah.
They're in this thing, and so I'm unfortunately my 51 is I'm moving it over. You hear me?
Jeez. Yeah, the flock seems strong still in Baltimore. I mean, have you ever heard Renegade get booed?
No.
That's the most sacred thing we have, man.
Can't believe it. But it's a defensive thing, and I understand why they did it. You know what I'm saying? Like why they did it in the sense that they're frustrated with what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's a defensive thing. I mean, they start booing the offensive polka or whatever the Steelers
anyway. Man, I think predicated on weather, because I think that's going to influence the game plan, obviously. But I think our upper hand comes from the efficiency and the health of Baltimore secondary.
Yep, I would not disagree with you.
I think if we can, exploit that early, I think we have a better chance here. But
yeah, I also think too that we have the advantage in Boswell.
Sure,
like the kicking game, right? Like having the kicker is big for us. So
yeah, there's a couple. I mean, we could sit here and talk about the nuances of every play there, because there's a couple of those. I was gonna reach out to you, like, hey man, so we don't want 9 on the field at all here. We just.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just wondering, asking.
It's interesting.
But here's the cool thing about this Sunday, playing Baltimore, is that the football and family can watch it with us.
Oh, we're live streaming.
Because we're going to live stream it.
Love it.
Yeah, we are going to live.
Hopefully we love it. It's a good one.
Yeah, hopefully we don't shut it off early. Good
stories are fun to talk about. Yeah. All right. Well, that would be awesome. So we'll look forward to that. Anything else for this week? We're good.
Oh, man, stay safe out there.
Yes, for sure. Be safe. Thank you for joining us. Obviously, this is Footballin. You're in the basement. Spence, thanks for making it over, braving the weather to get here. We really appreciate that. But, yeah, be safe out there. Enjoy. Go outside. Throw a snowball at somebody, preferably one of your kids, not someone else's kid. But thanks for joining us. We appreciate you guys. Thank you again, Giant Eagle. Sorry, no family dinner. Evan, hopefully you stayed warm and bundled up at home. And we'll see you guys on Sunday at 1 o'clock. See you when we see you.